As we talk about technology improving, we also have to look at the way that the electrodes, the plates, are coated and produced. There's the old-fashioned dipping method where you basically take a plate and you dunk it in something. And then there's what Emcotex created, which is actually an electroplating, where we use electrolysis, a similar process to ionization, to actually draw that platinum coating into the surface and create a much stronger bind than simply gluing something to the outside of it. In addition, they say we went to mesh plates to cut back on costs because the surface area would be less. Well, that simply means they haven't done their math. Our mesh plates that spent years and years and years in our R&D facility were developed over time to increase our surface area and maximize the electrical current running through them at the points of contact with the water. It's just another falsehood drawn by people preaching outdated technology. The reason mesh electrodes are more efficient is kind of like the way that you water a garden. You build peaks and valleys to deliver the water system directly to the roots of the vegetables you're growing. Mesh electrodes work in a very similar way. We're channeling the energy to where we want it to get the maximum effect in contact with the water flowing through the cell. A lot of what we hear about the justification of a double price tag compared to most other ionizers is the cost of the materials used in the electrodes. The reality, they're not thicker, they're not stronger, they're not tougher, they're just a little bit bigger. But the amount of precious metals used to coat those is so minute that it simply doesn't justify the cost. The pictures here show our plates versus Enagic plates under an electron microscope. And what you're seeing is the difference between an electrocoating and a dipping method. What we talked about, how they're gluing it to the surface. As you can see, electroplating gets a much more thorough, solid, and consistent coverage than the older, outdated methods.